It's like art to him. Women have the same effect on a lover as does a beautiful painting to a painter. Hey guys, Hector Castillo, Poppy from girlschase.com, here for part number 2 on how to become a lover of women. Now in the first part, I distinguished the difference between an alpha male and a lover, and the traits and behaviors and inspirations of that path. Now, my director actually pointed something out when we finished the first video, and he asked me, and he said, well, how many men are actually going to follow this path? And it was a great point, because he pointed out that there's only so many men who are even going to want to become this, or even have the potential to be this. And I gave it some thought, and my instinct immediately said, any man can be an alpha male, because you have that innate, most men can become alpha male, because you have that innate masculinity. The desire to become a lover is something, I think that if you're watching these videos, you're going to know if this would fit you. You're also going to know if it doesn't fit you. You're going to be watching these videos and your first reaction is just going to be like, what the fuck is this? Or this sounds lame, or, you know, or you're just going to feel like that. I don't feel that desire to be it, right? So I do want to point that out. I'm not saying you need to become this, okay? It's kind of like a secret level, you know, like of you know, if you want to think of it like with a video game metaphor, it is kind of like a secret character or a secret level that I think is like super powerful, right? But it's not necessary, okay? And you can lead a happy, successful, romantic, sexual life without it. But if you do have that fire in you, and you'll know if you have it, I think it's possible if you wanted to transform, if you really wanted to gain this energy. It would be difficult to come from a place where you don't already have that inspiration. But this video, for the most part, is for those people who feel that desire to be that. And you'll know it because you'll just feel it. And while I'm talking, you're gonna go, that makes sense, I understand. If you don't, but you're still watching the video, maybe because you wanna maybe try it or learn something from it, then I invite you to do that. And I invite you to maybe overwrite some of your instincts and push yourself. You can train your mind and your heart to do a lot of different things. So if maybe you don't have a tendency to be this way, but you want to give it a try, go ahead and give it a try. It's going to take more work, right? Like, I was definitely never meant to be a basketball player, okay? I don't have the traits or the genetics or the talent for it. It's my worst sport, right? But if I were to go and practice it, I could probably get pretty good. I probably wouldn't make it to the NBA, but I could probably get pretty decent. But I definitely have a tendency for different things, and it's much easier for me to get good at them with much less practice. So maybe that'll explain it in a way that's more understandable. Okay, so now, how do you become a lover of women? So there's 3 levels on how a lover expresses himself in a very different way. And then there is a energy that is manifested behind it, right? And then of course I want to remind you that you still need to be a man, and it still needs to be masculinity in your behavior, okay? So let's go into that. What is that inspiration? What's the energy that's going to be pushing you to be a lover? And maybe this will answer the question of, you know, can I become a lover? The lover, his main concern, he is drawn to women physically, okay? He is attracted to ass. He loves ass. Right? Every guy loves ass, but the love, like, it's like art to him. Women have the same effect on a lover as does a beautiful painting to a painter, or a beautiful song to someone who loves making music, right? It is his art, and it feels that way. There is something sublime about an ass. There's something sublime about the way, the curves of a woman, and the lips and her eyes and her skin. It does something to him. He is attracted to them and drawn to them emotionally. There's something about their voice and the way that being around them makes him feel, and getting to know them and exploring their personality. But this, deep down, this inspiration, they affect him on a spiritual level. He is drawn to them because it is divine to him. There is an inspiration that goes beyond just the physical and the emotional. He is divinely attracted to them. And what that energy does, just like a religious person is drawn to their spiritual source because they want to connect to it and become part of it, but also give to it. And that's what a lover feels like. He wants to become part of that woman. He wants to have some sort of deep union with her. And in order to do that, he needs to give to her. So a lover wants to give to women. It fills him with joy, and it makes him ecstatic to see a woman smile and to know that he's making a woman happy, or even that a woman is happy. He wants to make her come. He wants to make her smile. He wants to make her laugh. He wants to see her enjoy her life. And he also wants to be there when she's in pain, and he wants to help her through it. He is in love with women. There is something deeper, almost religious, about his fascination with them. And if you're truly going deep into that religiosity, you are wanting to give to women. So a lover wants to give. Taking that energy, you're gonna have to change or imbue everything that you're doing with a woman that expresses that desire to give. Every man is horny for a woman. Mostly every man is horny for a woman. He sees a nice ass, nice pair of tits, beautiful lips, beautiful hair, the way she walks, right? He gets horny. Right? The difference between a lover and maybe like a creepy guy who's just like, oh, I wanna fuck that bitch, or an alpha male who's like, yeah, I wanna get laid. The lover sees her and he wants to eat her, and he wants to taste her, and he wants to ravage her. But he also wants her pleasure to be a part of it specifically. He is focused on that, either more so than his own pleasure or equally. And so the way that he lusts after her, the way that he touches her, the way that he speaks to her, the way that he looks at her, the way that he dresses himself, the way that he changes his physical appearance in order to become more appealing to women. That's kind of what we teach here at Girls Chase. We want women to chase us because we want to make ourselves into her dream. And if you make yourself into her fantasy, you're going to get more women. So his physical expressions, the way he touches, the way he speaks, there is a sexual energy behind it. There is a lust behind it, but there also is a love. There is a fascination, right? And if you're asking, okay, what do I specifically need to say? What do I specifically need to do? That's very difficult to answer. I would have to have a specific scenario to explain that to you. What's going to change the energy, however, the advice that I can give you in this video, the generalized advice, is going to be while you are interacting with women. And when you're not, when you're thinking about women, when you're hoping about women or dreaming of them, you should be drawn to them and attracted to them physically and emotionally, but you need to push put that extra seed of that somehow divine fascination and almost religious draw to them. Implant that into the way that you are thinking about them and feeling about them. And if you're asking, okay, what does that actually mean, Hector? Be specific. It means next time you're thinking about them or talking to them or spending time with her, actively tell yourself, I want to feel this way about her. I want to feel this divine connection to her. I want to feel this deeper spiritual connection to her. And if you inject that thought and tell yourself that thought enough, just like visualization works or sometimes people do mantras, they do actually work. You have to do the work. So you still have to go meet them and talk to them, right? This isn't some magic shit that women are going to show up at your door because you suddenly thought differently. It's going to be a slow process where you're changing the way you think and the way that you feel, but it will affect how you come off to them. I don't know how it's working specifically. It just does because I've personally experienced it. I've had it always to some extent, but the more that I focused on it, the more I felt women were drawn to me back. Because when you give that energy, they're going to give it back to you. That's the essence of the lover. When you give, she's going to give back. Whereas maybe, not to generalize, but an alpha male or a guy who is a beta, they just want to take. The alpha has something to trade with her, but the lover is specifically focused on giving to her. And I mean, he's still human, so he's going to be disappointed if he doesn't receive anything back. Okay, I'm not saying you're some sexual Jesus here, but you are very focused on giving to her. And so because of that giving energy, there is more of a selfless energy there. Okay, so your physicality is going to change. You're going to change the way that you listen to women. You're going to be intently focused on their stories because you want to understand what her story is. You're not just listening to her story to know what to say next, to know how do I seduce her, what's the right thing to say to her. You're thinking to yourself, what will make her happy? What will make her feel understood? What will make her feel loved? What will make her feel accepted, comfortable, sexy, beautiful? That's what he's focused on. And because, again, he's changing his thoughts to feel this way, it's going to alter the way that he moves his body and the way that he looks at her while he's listening to her. And if you practice this, I promise you're gonna see I've had women specifically tell me, like, while I'm listening to them, they're like, they'll give a comment like, there's something, you listen differently, right? And you seem to be focused differently on me than most guys. And you're just gonna see it in the way that they react to you, maybe not so explicitly, but they are going to change how they receive you because you want to understand her and appreciate her and savor her words and her stories and her histories and her fears and her dreams and her hopes in a very, very different way because you have that motivation. And that motivation is going to change the way you listen and look at her, right? And lastly, the spiritual aspect. That is the essence of all of this. That is the desire to give to her, the desire to share with her, and the desire to have some interaction with her that goes beyond just the mundane. It's gonna be normal in its practicality. You're still trying to fuck her, okay? Because at the end of the day, like I said before, we're still trying to be men, and we still want to fuck women, okay? I still want to put my dick in her. I still think she has a nice ass, right? I can get all fucking spiritual and religious about it, but I still want to fuck her in the ass, okay? I still want to fuck her throat. I still want to, and this crassness that you hear me using, and I'm sure some people find it surprising and sometimes galling, there is, in my intentions are different. When one guy's like, I want to fuck her in the pussy, it comes off one way. When I say it, I hope, and maybe it doesn't, but I'm hoping it comes off in a, yes, it's very crass, it's very crude, but there's something different about it. It doesn't feel as cringy as it might be if I didn't have this motivation behind the words. And I hear this from women because I am very direct with women, right? I've had bad reactions from women, definitely, and have been way too direct. But when I'm direct with women, and I am sexual and I'm not afraid to express it, they don't get offended in the same way that I see other men offend them when they use the same language. They understand me. They understand where I'm coming from because I don't know if they can hear my fucking thoughts or feel my heart. There's something going on where because I've trained myself to become this person and because I had that fire in me to become a lover, my sexuality that made me a man, because again, I'm still a man and I want to fuck them and I want to taste them, I don't want to kiss her, but I also want to spend time with her and listen to her, right? But I still want to fuck her. They receive that in a very different light than other men. And I've seen other lovers get the same reactions that I do because these women know on some intuitive level, this guy is on a different level and he's communicating like a woman, but he's a man. And women at their heart, because what you're going to be understanding and becoming a lover of women, which I've kind of been hinting at this whole time, is you're going to learn what it means to be a woman. Because you're going to be so fascinated with the art, just like a painter learns how colors affect people because he sees how it affects him. We all share that human nature. So the feminine nature isn't so far off. It's springing from humanity. It just goes this way for the masculine and this way for the feminine, or up or down because of the arrow like symbols, right? So the feminine is not so far from the masculine. But the lover is willing to go down and switch his perspective in order to learn that essence. And I can't express in words what that essence is because it has a formless quality, right? A painter could express what kind of blue this is, right? Or what kind of white this is. But a lover of women, his art is a little bit more, not transcendental, it's formless. And any other artist, be it painter or fighter or dancer, they have a practical art where there are set things you can do, but they know what it feels like to just have that intuition, that sense like something is deeper is going on here, right? The lover, he is speaking in a way, right? His colors are the way he speaks. His choreography for the dancer is his movements, the way that he moves his body. But he's doing it in a way to captivate her on a sexual level and on a charm level. But the deepest thing that is being danced around and trying to be understood is what is femininity. And if he, as a man, is dancing around that femininity or having that femininity dance around him, the more time he spends close to it, the more its nature starts to be understood intuitively by his heart. He may not be able to explain it. He may not be able to write it down or put it into an equation. And it's very hard to teach others. But he does begin to understand it. And when he begins to understand it because he wanted to understand it, at its fundamental level, it's just falling in love with women and wanting to understand them. And if you go into the land of women and speak with them and spend time with them and fuck them and date them, with that intention, you will understand them. And that's what I'm inviting you to do. I'm inviting you to love women. Love the way they look, the way they talk, the way they fuck, the way that they smell, the way that they touch you, and the way that they are. Fall in love with that and spend time with it, and it will transform you. And when you are transformed by it, you will become a lover, and you will become that light that perfectly matches the divine feminine. But you didn't go after the masculinity that the alpha male did, where he just built his tower. I built this tower for her. And in return, women will give you as much as you gave to her. Because you will have a fear that you're going to be a simp or that you're going to be overly romantic or lame. But women will give you just as much as you gave them. And that's why you're a lover of women, because you love women. Okay. Hector Castillo, Poppy from girlschase.com. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, ring the bell, and I wish you the best of luck on becoming a lover of women.